Hey, what's up guys? Today we'll be drawing Umbreon from Pokemon. In this short video tutorial, I will be going over the step-by-step of how to create this drawing from start to finish. Beginning with roughing in the basic shapes and forms with pencil, and then refine the rough sketch with detailed line work. After that, we're going to trace the pencil drawing with marker, then color in the highlight, midtone, and shadows. Finally, tracing the profile lines with the marker again to complete the drawing. Now let's take a look at the materials we'll need today for this drawing. You're going to need a pencil, an eraser, a black marker, and some crayons. The colors I have here, I have a gray and a black. Okay, for the majority body of Umbreon, I have a yellow and a brown for the yellow parts of Umbreon. The yellow details and the shadow are brown. Okay, and then I have an orange-red for the eyes, and I'm using the brown again for the shadows in the eye. Now, I also have here with me a sticky roller. This is optional, you don't have to have it, but if you do have it, it makes cleaning up super easy. Cool. Now, before we start our drawing, let's take a look at a reference picture of Umbreon and find out what shapes and form we can use to create our drawing. So I'm going to take my pencil, let's start the head like a circle, okay? And then the two ears are leaf shapes. You got one ear this direction and one ear that direction. Okay? Now, I'm going to draw the cross on Umbreon. This is going to help me locate where the eyes and the nose are, all the facial features later on. Okay? Alright, so now the body, I'm going to do it with two circles. One circle for the chest, and two circle, okay, for his butt. So we draw it right here. We have two circles like that. Then we're going to connect it so it's in the shape of a peanut. I'm going to add in the neck like this. All right, I'm going to add in the 4 feet. So 4 legs, 1 leg, 2 leg, 3 leg, 4 legs. That's about where they start on the body. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, 2 of them in the front, 2 of them in the back. So. Okay, now imagine these as like almost an upside down eggplant with the anatomy in there that forms the leg. Okay, so there's a joint here, there's a joint here, joint, 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 all these joints. Okay, so imagine if you take an eggplant and start bending it at these joints. See that? Okay, and then the tail is another leaf shape. I'm going to draw another circle for the nose. Okay, so that's about the basic shape and form of Umbreon. Next, let's find out which direction the lighting is coming from in this picture. It will help us when we color in the highlight, midtone, and shadow. So we have some highlight here, 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 and the tip right here. And the shadow, right here we shadow, shadow, all these areas are shadow. Okay, so from where the highlight, midtone, and shadow are located on this drawing, I'm pretty sure the lighting is coming from up, down like that. Okay, we have some form shadow, some cast shadow, we're going to go over that later. Okay, but now we have all the information we need for our drawing. Let's start with roughing in the basic shapes and forms, okay? I consider this to be the most important stage of the drawing because it is the foundation of everything else that comes after. Okay, now see how I draw very lightly at this stage? It is to avoid committing to any lines too soon. When I start refining the drawing in a second, the more definitive lines that I'm willing to commit to, I will draw heavier. And the rough sketch will feel like it's fading away as my refined line work emerge from the basic shapes and forms. Another tip when drawing circular forms, we see we have a lot of circular forms like the head, the body. I like to draw 4 corners first. I use these 4 corners to kind of use it for placement to know about where I want my circle to be, and then I draw the other 4 corners. And then I connect the lines. Now this technique can help you draw better circles, and it also give you a more accurate circle as far as placement and where you want to be. Okay? Now at this stage, if you're not happy with what you have right now, keep working on it until you do. Make sure your anatomy, your compositions are all good, double check with a reference picture, and if you think it is ready to go, let's start refining the drawing. See how the rough sketch feels like it's fading away now that we have a refined and detailed pencil drawing? Now, learn to draw with short and repetitive strokes. Still draw very lightly, but look for that definitive line amongst the rough lines, and draw heavier as you commit to those lines. And you'll see your real drawing emerge from the rough sketch. Okay, next step is to trace your pencil drawing with the marker and then erase the pencil drawing afterwards. Now my tip for this step is to keep rotating your paper to produce a fluent stroke. And remember that you don't have to finish a long line with one single stroke. You can break it up into several strokes. Just make sure that it looks continuous. Okay, for example, this line right here for the tail. See? One stroke, 2, 3, 4. That's 4 strokes, but it looks like 1, okay? So, remember, don't have to try to make it one take, okay? That's very hard, okay? So let's start tracing. When you erase the pencil drawing, make sure you hold down your paper with the other hand so that you don't risk wrinkling up your paper. Okay? Now, the next step is coloring. Most objects you draw will have a highlight, midtone, and shadow. If we look at our reference picture here, the neutral tone that fills up most of the picture is the midtone color. And then we have the lighter areas, that's the highlight, and the dark area, and that's the shadow. Okay? So, we can overlay color to make the color look darker, but we can't really overlay color to make a color lighter, at least not on paper. Okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mark off where the highlights are and just color the rest of the area with the midtone color. And then come with the shadow and overlay the shadow on the midtone. And then after I'm done with that, I'm going to take a look at the highlights again and see whether or not I want to color the highlight. Because sometimes leaving the highlight white, it looks pretty good. Okay? So I'm going to start with either the lightest color or the smallest area. So for Umbreon, I'm going to start with the eye, because the eye is just such a small area, I can just take care of it really quick. And then with the yellow, and then with the black. Okay? Now that we have all the midtone colors in on our drawing, let's take a look at the shadow. So there are form shadow and cast shadows. A form shadow will follow the form of the shape of the object, and the cast shadow is actually casted from another form that's closer to the sunlight or your light source. So we see most of our shadow here are form shadow that follows the form. Okay, some areas are actually cast shadow. This part under the ear is the cast shadow, and actually this part of the leg is cast shadow. And these area right here are actually cast shadow too, because the body, okay, is in front of this leg and is getting all the light source, but not this leg. So that's why this leg is all in shadow. Alright, so now let's put in our shadow. I know this drawing looks very flat with only just a midtone and some highlights, but watch this. See how after we put in the shadow, the whole drawing becomes more dimensional? That's because with your highlight, midtone, and shadow, everything will read as 3D forms instead of 2D flat shapes. Now I know it already looks great, but we're going to make it look even better by making the profile lines thicker. Now the profile lines are the outermost border lines of each major form. For example, the legs, the ears, the tail. Now little detail lines on top of the form, those are not profile lines, okay? So when we make the profile lines thicker, your form will read more clear. What's in the front, what's in the back, and the whole character will pop off the page. Let me show you how this works. And there we have it, Umbreon from Pokemon. Now remember, drawing is like playing the piano. You can have the best instructor and the best music sheet in front of you. You might even know the music very well. But it is only through practice it will get you better and become what you want to be. The whole point of my video is to provide the side-by-side training for you on a daily basis, like riding a bicycle. I might have to hold your bike for you in the beginning, but just keep drawing and remember to keep practicing drawing every day. Now before you know it, you'll be flying. Alright? That's it, folks. I hope you guys enjoy this drawing tutorial. Let me know in the comments below what we should draw next. And don't forget to like and subscribe. I'll see you next time.